because she knows everything about pretty much everything that's going on in the world right now. Not only Iran and Israel and the conflicts in the Middle East, not only what's going on with I mean, you want to talk about these Muslim fundamentalists and extremists in New York who are now steps away from taking over the mayor's office with the help of AOC and the Democrats. But also, we got to talk about the midterms too. But first, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Brigitte Gabriel. How are you? National security analyst, author. What are you? The actforamerica.org. You're working on every aspect that is currently harming America. How's it going?
It's going great. I am grateful President Trump is in power.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how different things would be if right now we have Kamala Harris as president? So thankfully, God was looking down on America, whatever you call it, superpower, human intelligence, whether you believe in God or not, whatever it is, it was looking down on America. So thank God we've got President Trump. The world is getting fixed one country at a time.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's going to be a lot to reverse it down. But we're working with the president and we're helping the president and working with his team to make sure America continue to be great again, safe again, and the greatest country on the face of the planet.
Now, let me just show people real quickly, just so they know who you are. And you've been on our show a couple times. Rise is your brand new book in defense of Judeo-Christian values and freedom. But you've got multiple bestsellers, and they're all available on your website. Let's talk a little bit about, though, this 12-day World War III that we just wrapped up with Donald Trump going in with the B-2 bombers and having one of the most successful missions, I think, in American military history, obliterating Iranian nuclear facilities, getting out, and then, of course, getting all kinds of guff from not only Democrats, but a handful of Republicans. And now we know that there's a ceasefire and that the war is basically over. So what are what are the takeaways from this past weekend?
The takeaway is the world respects strength. The world, especially the Middle East, respects power. President Trump is an alpha male, and the world respects that. As much as they tried to sell us in America about the wussifying of men, how it's better, we're multicultural, our recruitment for the military is basically, lesbian commercials, showing about how I'm becoming to my full self. This is not what wins war. This is not what gets you respect on the world stage, because we still live in the big world. And we still have to deal with other countries and with other leaders and dictators. And in the case of Iran, mullahcracy, who believes they answer only to Allah and they are driven by an apocalyptic vision. That's why they're developing a nuclear program to bring their 12th Imam or the Mahdi in order to make Islam supreme throughout the world. And they were willing to use a nuclear bomb to do it. President Trump understood the challenges across the globe, and he understood that when you don't cross a red line. He gave the Iranians 60 days to negotiate.
Yeah.
Not a week, not 2 weeks, not 20 days. He gave them 60 days, 2 months. He says, let's reason together. Let's discuss this. Let's debate the issue. Let's address your concerns. The Iranians thought they were dealing with Biden or an Obama because they got accustomed to a very weak America that's became known worldwide as a paper tiger under Democratic leadership. President Trump said, I'm going to reset the world. I'm going to push my button, my finger on the button, and I'm going to show the world that America is back. And that's exactly what he did. We don't have a war. The war ended swiftly. We destroyed the Iranian nuclear reactor, and the Democrats do not know what to do right now. They're scrambling. They're scrambling to find a reason to impeach him, penalize him, whatever they want to do. It's not going anywhere.
You bring up a really great point that I think a lot of people don't know or just don't think about or don't care, because you're from the Middle East. You're from Lebanon and you worked in Israel, and you know that area probably better than anyone in the United States of America. And what you hit on is right. The leadership there and the power base there, they don't think like us. They are those alpha males, and they only respond to power, and they will bully people until they are bullied back by somebody bigger. And that is, for a lot of Americans, especially the new generation, that is something that is kind of literally a foreign concept.
That's right. And look, it's not just the leaders in the Middle East. The rest of the world respects alpha male. This is how we are designed as people. You cannot go against the DNA of thousands of years that go back for the thousands of years. This is how we are made.
Yeah.
The world respects power. The world respects somebody who stands up for himself. The world respects somebody who says, you're not going to cross me and I'm going to set boundaries.
Yeah.
This is how Putin operates. This is how every world leader operates, except for the leaders in the West who have been so wussified by this whatever swept Western nations.
Yeah.
It's like the more the rest of the world became stronger, the more that Western nations became weaker, because we beat up men. We beat up men to say, look, your masculinity is toxic. That's baloney. The world respects masculinity. The reason why we have an army, reason why we have a military is to go out and kill our enemy.
Right.
Not to be nice to them, not to build bridges in schools, not to build girls' schools and sing, kumbaya with everybody. This is not why we build the military. We spend millions of dollars training our men and women in the military to go out and kill your enemy and come home victorious. And that's exactly what President Trump did with his attack on Iran. And look at the respect throughout the world. I cannot wait to watch the footage, Mark, from the NATO summit right now.
Yeah.
Trump is on his way. He's going to be treated like a hero. I mean, you can just imagine him pushing everybody aside, standing in the for the photo op, red dead smack center. This is what the world respects. And I'm so glad that young American men and women are seeing this, are getting to witness this, to understand. We cannot live in a la-la land in our own world that we make for ourselves. We still have to live with the rest of the world, and we have to suffer the consequences, good or bad, because we live in a big world.
And it's true that not only are the Iranians now kind of coming to the table and they've got the ceasefire, not only are the Israelis, who again Donald Trump had to browbeat Netanyahu a little bit this morning because he was sending more bombers out, and Donald Trump's out there cussing on the White House lawn. He was on the phone doing the same thing. So not only do those countries respect and admire Donald Trump and the United States of America, but I have to imagine that every other angry, anti-American, we hate capitalism, death to America country out there is doing a double take. And they're rethinking any and all plans they may have had to go against President Donald Trump. North Korea, Syria, any of these other places, they're going to be like, well, we don't want any of that happening here.
That's right. Can you imagine what's going on through the minds of Xi right now and China? Remember, China's been eyeing Taiwan. We knew China wanted to attack Taiwan. Do you think the Chinese will take a chance in the next 3 years of doing anything to Taiwan? Wouldn't dare. And President Trump, he didn't have to, go out and beat everybody with a stick. All he did was says, okay, we're going to go out, we're going to bomb the nuclear reactor, and we're going to come back. I don't want war. I don't want to drag the world into war. We just want to make sure we eliminate the threat that's posed to the United States. And that's exactly what he did. And look, he understands our enemy. The majority of Americans don't realize the threat from Iran. The only reason Iran was developing nuclear weapons, it was for military grade for war. And their ultimate goal was the attack the great Satan, the United States of America. Remember, Israel is the little Satan. We are the big Satan. All Iran wanted to do is put a nuclear head on a ballistic missile made by North Korea, because remember, they've been working with the North Koreans for the last 20 years. President Ahmadinejad, the former president of Iran, attended the North Korean missile test in 2006 and 2007 in North Korea, because they were hoping to work together on attacking the United States, where Iran could have used, whether Al-Qaeda, ISIS, any of the operatives, any of the ships that the bin Laden family owned, launch a ballistic missile out of any place in the ocean, whatever ocean they wanted, and attack the United States. Not to kill Americans. They can detonate a ballistic missile with a nuclear head 500 kilometers above the sky of the United States. Let's say Wichita, Kansas. That will interact with the Earth's surface, creating an electromagnetic pulse attack. Nobody on the ground will die, but it will send us back, Mark, to the 14th century. There will be no electricity. All the utilities will stop. no water, no gas, food will rot in the stores, trucks will not work, warehouses will not be able to deliver food to the grocery stores. And once Americans realize that we've been hit, it'll take them about 24 hours to 48 hours. Then the EMP Commission, the Electromagnetic Pulse Congressional Commission, because even in Congress, they had a commission on this because it was such a serious threat.
Yeah.
They said that 90% of Americans will be dead within 1 year because they will kill each other for food to survive. We in this country have not been paying attention. At least the average Joe Blow who's getting their news from the Comedy Central and TikTok and Instagram have no idea what I just shared with you.
Yeah.
But President Trump and the Pentagon and Congress knew exactly what we were dealing with when we were looking at Iran. And that's why we had to attack.
Let's talk about that a little bit too, because one of the things that I'm concerned about is the midterms. And the midterms in 2026, I believe that the Democrats, they're going to go hard for the House of Representatives. They know that there's no presidential election. They know they're not going to win the Senate. And so they're going to pour all their resources. They're going to pour all their money. They're going to pour all their craziness. All their media friends are going to be battling for whatever purple seats and really some red seats out there. And my concern is that 97% of the time in the history of this country, the party in power has lost in the midterms. And if we lose these midterm elections, then we are going to be slapped with the kind of crazy this country has never seen. Donald Trump will be immediately impeached for the dumbest things, probably every single day. And they'll tie up his entire administration with subpoenas and interviews and all that kind of stuff. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think that we have a strong enough conservative conservative base, I guess you would say, in Congress right now to adequately fight that back.
Exactly. And thank you for bringing this point up, Mark, because this is so important. And I see this all over the country because I travel all over the country.
Right.
Remember, I run an organization called Act for America, actforamerica.org, and I encourage people to go to our website and check us out. We are the largest national security and freedom grassroots organization in the country. We have grassroots. We have people on the ground in 97% of U.S. counties. We have helped pass over 300 bills at the federal level and the state level. So I've got my finger on the pulse of the nation. I travel everywhere and I meet with donors to support our work. And one thing I'm seeing this year, every people that I go talk to, hey, would you be willing to host a meeting for Act for America this year? We would like to talk about the midterm, what's happening, why we need to organize. And I've heard it over and over again. Oh, Brigitte, I'm not worried. President Trump is in power. He's going to fix it all. It's not an election year. I'm not concerned. We need to wake up because we can lose. We can lose the House very easy. Look, we're barely hanging on the thread with the House. So don't sit on your hands and think President Trump is going to fix it. The left is organizing right now, and we need to do the same thing. Right now is the time for the grassroots to be mobilized in their community. You need to understand. You need to map out your neighborhood. You need to map out your community. You need to understand who's running your city council, who's on your city council.
Yeah.
You need to understand who are your state legislatures, who is up for election and who is not. You need to sign up to volunteer for your local conservative Republican political party, whatever it is. But you need to be involved. You need to be involved in your precinct because we cannot afford to lose the next election. Like you said, Mark, if we lose the next election, President Trump will be paralyzed. He will not really be able to do much because the Democrats will tie up everything in the House, impeaching him. He will not be able to enforce his agenda. And that's why we at Act for America right now are working with the White House team and the administration to codify every executive order President Trump signed and to put it into law between now and the midterm. So we've got 1 year to be able to do that. So I encourage people to go to our website, actforamerica.org. We monitor all bills coming down for a vote at the federal and the state level. So when we introduce a bill, we want to be able to notify you. The bill is introduced. We want you to call your elected official. We give you their phone number. We even have a script written for you. We even have an email about the bill written for you that with one click on your computer, you can send it to them. We have a tool called Act Now. Act Now campaign. It's a technological tool. We have simplified activism. We call them keyboard activists, and we need you engaged. Go to actforamerica.org, sign up to get our emails and action alerts. Sign up as a member if you can. We would appreciate your support in every way. But it doesn't cost you anything to take action. We want to make sure every red, white, and blue bleeding American, America loving patriot has access to our technology and their voice heard to make sure we maintain our power in the House, the Senate, so we can support President Trump, get his agenda done, and reverse the damage that the Biden administration did to the country in the last 4 years.
And the flip side of that, too, is not only do we need to keep the House of Representatives, but you need to make sure, as you pointed out, on your city council, at your state level, and even your federal representatives, you need to make sure that they are conservative and that they're combative, that they're strong, and that they're not going to waffle. And that's one of the reasons we're going after our representative here, because he votes with Joe Biden and the Democrats way too often. And if the Democrats take control, we know that he's probably just going to reach across the aisle and do whatever they want. Real quick, speaking of threats and speaking of the Democrats, because they are still, even though they don't have a lot of money, even though they don't have a lot of messengers, even though they seem to be floundering, they are making headway. And this race that's going on right now in New York City with this guy who's challenging Cuomo, and I didn't think Cuomo was a good candidate anyway, but this guy, Zohran Mamdani is his name. And this guy is like 33, but he is one of those radical Islamists who is very close to becoming the mayor, or at least the primary candidate in the Democrat Party for mayor of the largest city in the country. How does that happen?
The largest city with the largest majority Jewish population.
Right, I know.
Israel.
It's wild.
It's mind-boggling. But you know what, Mark? The reason why they are so successful and they're having traction because the Democrats are organized.
Yeah.
They're not listening to talk radio and getting educated. They say, look, we are so informed on the right. You talk to anybody. Tell me, are you engaged? Are you active? Oh, yes, Brigitte. I listen to talk radio. I watch Fox News. I watch Newsmax. I attend CPAC, Turning Point, any conference I can. I'm very engaged. I go to the Republican Party, hear speakers, eat the rubber chicken. Everybody feels good about themselves. They got educated. They go home, Mark. 7 days later, they have no idea what to do. On the Democratic side, they are organized at the grassroots level. They are so emotionally driven and passionate that they are engaged. They map out their community. They understand. They talk to their neighbors. They have a barbecue party. Invite all their friends in the building. Come to my house for dinner. We're going to have a pizza party. Let's talk about how we're all going to go out and vote. I want to make sure every single one of you all are going to go out and vote. Who else can we pick up? Who else can we take? Who do you know of our friends who, wobbling? They organize each other, and this is what we're lacking on the Republican side, and that's why I'm all about grassroots activism. That's why I say you need to be engaged, you need to be mobilized. And in New York right now, I mean, what a day today, the day of voting. This guy is so radical.
Yeah.
New York has become like London. What's taking down England is when you look at all their major cities, every major city has a Muslim mayor. And so we need to make sure that in America, we do not go down the path of London. Not because we are anti-Muslim. We are anti-radical Islamists.
Yes.
Who refuse to condemn Hamas like this guy. The guy is running for office. He refused to condemn Hamas after the October 7th attack. He refuses to condemn terrorist organization. And this is the guy who wants to head one of the biggest city in the United States. This is what Americans need to be concerned about.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. And that's all by design, too. The fact that they took over cities like London and the fact that they have strongholds in other major cities. And you see there's whole sections of London that if you're not a Muslim, you're told not to go into, and the police won't even go into because they're too scared of what would happen to them and also what would happen if they tried to enforce the law. And now New York City is facing the same fate. It is totally wild. It is ridiculous. Hopefully we'll see what happens. I've never actually thought I'd be in a position where I was praying for Andrew Cuomo, but it appears that's exactly. I'm like, well, please God, let Andrew Cuomo win. Wait, what is happening? Anyway, listen, Brigitte, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. Brigitte Gabriel, the new book is called Rise, and you can get it. You can get it on your website, BrigitteGabriel.com. What else before we go?
And they can get the books on Amazon. I cannot believe I'm sending people to Amazon. But for a donation to Act for America, my organization, you can get the book autographed and you'll be able to help our organization at the same time. Go to actforamerica.org, get involved, become a voice affecting your community and our nation.
Yeah, fantastic. That was great. Brigitte, thank you so much for coming on this. It's always very, you want to talk about energy. I thought I had a lot of energy, which I do, but she's got a lot of energy and a fantastic message, and we are right there.